Ever notice how some people just seem to have this like get it done energy? And I'm not talking about like, those hyped up energy drink types.
Right.
But something calmer, more consistent.
Yeah.
It's like they've built up this reserve of mental toughness.
I like that.
And that's what today's deep dive is all about, tapping into that.
Okay.
We're starting with a conversation between these two people, Maxwell and Adenike,
Okay.
tucked away in a podcast transcript.
Interesting. So we're eavesdropping on a conversation about conversations. That's very meta.
Exactly. And what's so cool is Maxwell and Adenike, they weren't fitness gurus.
Okay.
They kind of stumbled on this whole idea that it's not about crushing workouts, but about cultivating what they called a discipline muscle.
Discipline muscle. I like that.
Through small, consistent actions.
Right.
And get this, they think you can apply it to anything.
Really?
Not just exercise.
Okay, so how'd they get to this discipline muscle idea? What sparked that in their conversation?
So they were talking about how even just committing to 10 minutes of stretching each day had this ripple effect on other areas of their lives.
Interesting.
And it wasn't about, becoming super flexible overnight or anything, but building that consistency.
Okay.
And they found they were more able to stick to other goals.
Wow.
Big or small.
So that's fascinating. Really reminds me of how habits form, like the science behind it.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So when we do something again and again, our brains, they actually start creating these new neural pathways.
Really?
It's like paving a new road, but in your brain, and the more you travel that road, the more familiar, the easier it becomes.
Wow, that's a great analogy.
And exercise, even little bits here and there, it's like cross-training for your willpower.
Okay, I love that. So it's not like you have to become a willpower Olympian right away.
Right.
It's those consistent reps showing up daily. And that showing up, even if it's just for 10 minutes of stretching, starts to build resilience, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, yeah, because you're not just stretching your hamstrings, right? You're stretching your ability to resist procrastination.
That's such a good point.
That mental toughness, it goes into everything else.
And this is where Maxwell and Adenike really blew my mind. They linked this discipline muscle, this whole idea of taking consistent action to some pretty amazing cognitive benefits. We're talking like sharper focus, better memory.
Wow.
It's like exercise is giving your brain a tune-up.
Yeah, it's true. And it's something I find really exciting, to be honest.
Yeah.
The research on this is growing so fast, and it all shows that physical activity, even something as simple as a brisk walk, increases blood flow to the brain.
Wow.
And that brings this surge of oxygen and nutrients, which basically act like fuel for your brain cells.
So it's not just metaphorical then.
Right.
There's an actual biological process happening.
Exactly.
This discipline muscle.
Yeah.
It's not just about willpower. It's like we're literally strengthening our brains.
Yeah, precisely. And what's even cooler is this increase in blood flow. It seems to help new brain cells grow.
What?
Yeah, specifically in the hippocampus, which is the part of your brain that's key for memory and learning.
Wow. So by like consistently showing up for ourselves physically, we're actually investing in our long-term cognitive health.
Yeah.
That's a powerful motivator right there.
It really is. And remember what we were talking about before?
Yeah.
With those small, consistent actions.
Right.
That's so important here because we're not talking about becoming marathon runners overnight. Even those little 10-minute bursts can have a big impact.
It's like Maxwell and Adenike were saying. Small steps, big impact. And isn't that where the idea of micro wins comes in?
Yes, exactly. Each time you choose to move your body, even just for a little bit, that's a micro win.
Right.
You're telling yourself, this is good, I can do this.
Right.
It all just builds on itself.
Okay.
It's that feeling of accomplishment that fuels more discipline.
It's like we're hacking the system or something.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for this like huge burst of motivation, we're building that I can do this feeling one micro win at a time.
Yeah. It's a much better way to do it, don't you think?
Totally. Yeah.
And the best part is, like Maxwell and Adenike were saying, this whole discipline muscle thing, it doesn't just apply to exercise. They found it works in every part of their lives.
That's so cool. It's like they unlocked this like universal skill or something. Like they were talking about sticking to a budget, even finishing that novel they'd always wanted to write.
Exactly. Because think about it.
Yeah.
The same stuff is happening in your brain, whether you're pushing yourself to do one more rep at the gym or resisting that dessert.
Yeah.
Calling your name,
Oh, I know that feeling.
Or even like sitting down to write when you just really don't feel like it.
So it's all about seeing those moments of resistance as opportunities to strengthen that discipline muscle.
It's telling your brain, I see what you're trying to do, but not today.
Yeah.
You're winning each time you do that.
It's like you're actually making it easier to choose the thing you really want, even when it's tough.
Exactly. It's about the long game, you know?
Yeah.
Building that mental toughness over time.
Which I think, let's be honest, that's what we all want, right? Like just being able to face those challenges head on.
For sure.
Stick to the things we said we'd do.
Yeah.
And ultimately just become better versions of ourselves.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive, here's a little something to think about.
Okay.
What's one thing, just one area in your life where you've been meaning to flex that discipline muscle?
Yep.
And it really doesn't have to be anything huge.
Right.
It could be as simple as like reading for 10 minutes every day.
Or finally cleaning out that one drawer.
Exactly. Just pick one small thing and see what happens when you do it consistently, even when you don't want to.
I love that.
You might just surprise yourself with how much that discipline muscle can actually grow.